Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your man, Jelani JB Bodie, host of this thing called the Wait a Minute Show. And if you cannot tell, you should be able to tell. I'm really excited. I'm really, really, really excited because what we got in store today was not expected. The whole world exploded, right? Everything shook up, and you should know what I'm talking about, but we're going to get into it in just a moment. Before we do that, real quick, man, so we can really jump into this, make sure if you haven't already, man, subscribe to the channel, right? Subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications, man. Holler at your boy, make comments, all that good stuff, man, because we be having a good time here. And things like this is why we have a good time. So normally how I would do this, I would tell Mo, hey, Mo's here, blah, 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 blah. Nah, we got to do it different with this news that dropped on us over the weekend. So Mo, come on in here, bro. Let me talk to you for a second. I had to bring Mo all the way side by side, right? Because we got a lot to talk about, and you see it right there. Luka, AD, Luka, however way that you want to look at it, mix it up or whatever. And for those who don't know, Mo is a big time Lakers fan. So he has got, this is near and dear, and he got some emotional investment, into this thing. So I'm just gonna start it off with here. We know about the trade and all that stuff. That shook up the world. So what was your initial reaction when you got word that the trade had happened?
Let me say this, because first of all, the media, they hyping it up like this is the greatest, most surprising trade ever happened. And I'm gonna come back to that. My initial thoughts was, how can they do it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, how can they do it? Why would they do it? Why did this make sense for Dallas? That was my initial reaction, my initial response. Right? Now we putting all the health stuff aside. We putting all the lack of, him being a defender. We putting all that aside. How old is Luka? What he 25?
25.
Maybe 26 years old?
About to be 26 this month.
Right. So you're talking about a young superstar who, is one of the league's leading point scorers or whatever, right? Why it makes sense for Dallas. Let's put it out there like that. AD, you know how I feel about AD, JB. It's been a long time coming, man. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. So I don't really feel nothing. The only thing I do feel is, now we lost a great rim protector, right? So we got to address that, and we got options out there, that we may be able to explore. I don't think they done, but go ahead, man.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm still tripping on
it. They better not be done. So
no,
but
no.
I went to bed first I made the mistake and I sat down in the bed and Sandman said, "I got your butt now," and I wake up because I always wake up in the middle of the night or whatever, and I wake up and I see on my phone my homeboy. Now he's in Africa, so he's ahead of us.
Okay.
And he sends me the message, and I'm serious. I looked at it and I was just like, okay, I know I'm asleep because I'm reading this wrong. But then also, I said, this fool don't ever know what he talking about. So I'm gonna go to sleep. I closed my eyes and I said, but the way he said it like there's something going on. So I opened my eyes again and I said, I know you lying. I was like,
that's how I was when I got the news.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. And I need to process this. So I went back to sleep because again, it's the middle of the night. I went back to sleep. And then when I woke up, I was just like, yo, this is not a dream. This is crazy. And I think the biggest thing was I was like, we got a lot to talk about come next show or whatever. So that's how I was thinking about it. So where I want to take this and where I want to go with this, because there's a lot of things to touch base on with this, and I think it opens up a lot of roads to talk about. And one of the first ones that I want to talk about, Mo, is to make this move, what does this say about Luka? What does this say about the Mavs? Because as I started thinking about it, I honestly started thinking there's something to this story that we don't know, because this ain't something that Luca said something out of pocket or whatever, and it's an emotional reaction. This is something that's probably been brewing for a good bit with this team, and it's like we just had enough, which is crazy because you just came off of an NBA Finals appearance, and this stuff just doesn't happen. So on the Dallas side, what I guess what are your thoughts as far as like, or your opinion why you think Dallas made this move?
It's funny because that was my first thing. I'm like, why are they doing it? Why are they doing it? But then when you stop and you think about it, you let the smoke clear. It's like the first thing came to my mind was there a problem with him and Kyrie? It won't be the first time that Kyrie didn't work out with other players, right? And are we just left the finals. People forget about that. They just left the finals, right? Does having a big man that can defend and score points give us a better chance with Kyrie to accomplish their goal? And when you stop and think about it, it ain't crazy, right? It's not crazy. I mean, because it ain't like you can't run some offense through AD and come on now, I just said his name, Kyrie, right?
And Clay.
So, but all in all, still, this is a kid who was. I think Luka was set to get that supermax. How much was it? Was it three? I don't think I got it in my
345.
notes. I think it was 345, right?
Yeah.
So you offloading some money because now he's ineligible for that. You offload that. You bring in AD. I'm assuming if they do extend him, it's going to be cheaper. But I don't know, man. I don't think it's crazy. I don't think I don't today feel like I did the other day. So
and
don't
you're
count
right.
them out.
You're right. I don't feel today. I don't feel like I felt over the weekend when I first came to know what had transpired. And to your point, I started thinking, because Nico Harrison said this. He was just talking about defense win championships, and I said this over the weekend. And I'm jumping back on Instagram, so look for more stuff like that. But I thought, yeah, maybe they're just trying to win a different way. Obviously, there's an age gap in between him, Luka being 25, about to be 26, and AD at 31. I think he's about to be 32 in March.
Right.
So you still got that, you got that age difference in there. But as far as like what they're trying to do, when you look at it, I just think, one, he's going to now play the 4, which AD's been trying to play the 4 for forever. The other thing is you got a guy in Kyrie Irving who he can hold his own, but then he hasn't had a guard of that caliber, I want to say, since Rajon Rondo when they were in New Orleans. So you add him with a Clay, that we just saw Clay have a game where he putting up mad points. You add them with Lively, Gafford, they're going to play their role. PJ Washington, others is going to play this role. It's like, okay, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
It's not as bad as it once looked. But Nico, speaking of Nico, here's the thing I'm going to say about Nico, and you tell me if you agree with this.
Okay.
I think this is going, because he's going to be tagged to this. I know the owner signed off on it and everything. Maybe the owner said, "Get Luka out of here." Maybe that's that's the case too. But this is still going to be tied to Nico for making this deal. On how it works or how it doesn't work, on it. So I give him credit for having the onions to be able to do this, because this is not a popular move. This is not a move that this is not a norm. Let me just say, say that
it don't happen. I mean,
right.
And it ain't the
And
greatest trade, but it ain't never happened.
right. And in the manner in which it happened, you only work with one team. You're trading them still in the conference, so you could possibly see this dude again down the road. And it's not guaranteed that you're going to get back to the NBA finals when you got teams like the Nuggets and OKC and some of these other teams, and some of these other teams that's up and coming, like a Houston and San Antonio, who just got, De'Aaron Fox and all that stuff, which we would have been talking about that, but we ain't even talking about that now.
Exactly. I was just on the phone talking about that.
Yeah. So it's going to be one of those things where, what I look at it as, it's going to be, I can't say it's totally equivalent, but it's going to be on that level of the Herschel Walker trade, where we will be talking about this to the end of time, that trade, what happened. And the great thing about it is that the term, I told my homeboy this, time will tell. And that is actually what will happen.
Yeah.
Is time will tell on it. I want to flip to your team. Let me not forget your team, the Lakers. And this move, obviously, the Lakers have gotten their guy for the future. They wanted it to be AD, but I guess when you look at how talented or a talent of what Luka is, it's just like you know what I equated it to, the trade. I was telling a friend real quick. When I was moving, I was living in an apartment complex, and I wanted to get out of that one and move into another one because I was just tired. I was just like, I'm moving to another spot, right?
Yeah.
And they just like, whatever. And then I finally, moved, and I told them, I was like, yo, I'm moving out such and such time. And they was like, they didn't believe me. And they were like, wait, so you're moving? I'm like, yeah, I'm moving, right? So like, so what can we do to keep you? And I'm like, nah, it's too late, whatever. And during this time, I kid you not, I said, nah, it ain't nothing you can do to keep me. They're like, just try me. Nah, it ain't nothing. They said, just try me. I said, rent $200 a month. And they said, deal.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt.
It won't happen today,
Nico called and said, look, we want AD. Nah. We're not giving up AD. No, we want AD. Come on, just listen to me. No, we're not giving up AD. Well, what do you want? What do you take back? We'll give you Luka. Deal. That's how that felt. And for Luka to go over, this adds to the Laker lore. If I'm saying that name that right, because you have the Wilt, you have the Kareem, they got Magic, they got Kobe, they got Shaq, they got guy after guy after guy to this point, and now you got this guy in Luka. So this is going to be your future. This is your franchise player for the next 10 years. So thinking of it that way, how do you feel about, because I know you never thought y'all would ever have Luka. So how does that feel, having Luka as the next in place to be the future of or the face of your franchise?
Well, first of all, we got to secure that because 2026, he's slated for free agency. So now you got to make sure. You got to make sure you do it because
Mo, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do it. You know good and well they're gonna put Jack Nicholson in the room and they're gonna bring everybody from LA. He's not going nowhere.
Is the best when it comes to selling.
He's not going nowhere.
However, now you still got questions, JB, because we don't know his state of mind. We don't know how happy he is. We don't know. We don't know what happened, what transpired to say, you know what, let's pull the trigger on this deal. We don't know. But let's assume that's our future. Of course, you got to feel good about it if you can iron out some of the kinks. How well can JJ Redick, do at getting him to be a better defender? We know LeBron James is going to play a role in that. At some point, that part of his game got to develop. It's got to grow, right? LeBron James, to get him a nutritionist or something or whatever, get in the gym with him or whatever.
Right.
I'm pretty sure between Jack Nicholson, JJ, and LeBron, they can sell him on, okay, listen, this is a great opportunity right here, right? We ain't seen, and we ain't doing the whole race thing. We ain't seen a white kid lead this team since what, Jerry West back in the day?
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got your Kobe's, your LeBrons, your Magic Johnsons, your Kareems, your Jerry West, and you see them statues out there, right? So yeah, let's sell it. And if we can, then hey man, the sky's the limit because we know that kid is a dog. We wouldn't be sitting here talking about this if he wasn't one of the biggest stars in the league, one of the best players in the league, right? So, I mean, yeah, you got to be excited about it. Question is, what are you going to put around him? Because you got to win now. You just went and got Luka. You got to win.
Yeah,
You
you
got to
do.
win.
Now,
And I mean, I don't want to say it, but at some point it's inevitable. Is this a move to say, okay, at some point we looking past LeBron James, right? I think
hold
that's
on.
kind of the obvious gesture here. Go ahead.
We gonna get to that in just a
Okay,
second.
all right.
I'm
My
glad.
bad. I
I'm
didn't mean to
glad.
jump the gun.
I'm glad you said that. So, but Mo, here's also what I'm thinking is that this could be that switch that turns on that beast.
I hope it is.
There's one thing to think that like I'm this, I'm that, and then in the blink of an eye or a snap, you're in LA. And it's like, wait, I ran this franchise. They love me. I'm not here anymore. And maybe that switch goes off. Maybe Luca understands also because it's going to be explained to him that, hey, when they're going to mention those names, the Kobe's, the Magics,
Right.
the Kareems, they're going to mention all those
Oh, yeah. They're
names.
going to
So
show the banners and
you
everything.
got some weight on you to carry that you don't, no pun intended, to carry that you didn't have, in Dallas. So I think that switch could get turned on, and he goes on this mission of, I'm going to show them you've awakened the beast. This is who you wanted, but you moved on from me for, and it could be valid reasons why they moved on, but it awakes that animal that everybody been wanting Luka to be, improving on his defense, improving, on his conditioning.
Right.
I will say this: the Lakers getting talent around. I mean, they have been able to do that because I am still amazed of how they got Paul Gasol for a bag of chips to go with Kobe. So they have shown that they can, that they can do that. So I'm not worried about that. But you mentioned something and remind me what it was. I said we was going to get to it. You just said something.
Life without LeBron.
Yeah. That pulls me into, bro, this is the first time somebody made a move without talking to LeBron. LeBron said he didn't know anything.
You believe it?
And so nobody knew anything. Almost everybody didn't know anything about it. And it goes to, Luka's being that guy, because this is who they were looking for anyway. We already knew they were looking to replace LeBron at some point. But this is what happens when you're being replaced. And I forgot who said it, but LeBron wasn't homegrown in LA, right?
Right.
So I think this is just business for it. Am I surprised that it happened? No, because 0.0000001% of folks get to really kind of dictate and do things, that they would. Remember, Kobe was almost about to just lead that organization. Michael, left the organization, came back, but then, left again because they weren't going to renew contracts and all that stuff. So I'm just saying, like, moves that the franchise was going to make. It's not. I can't think of someone that just really got to from beginning to end to call all the shots. So that's why I'm not surprised that LeBron didn't know, because at this point it's just like we're closer to Luka taking over this team than LeBron leaving, and that's just something that LeBron's going to have to accept. Right? He can maybe go to another team. Some people are rumored maybe he's still trying to get out before the trade deadline. I don't think so. I think if he does, it'll be next year. But yeah, those days are probably gone, or they're not going to happen as often. And I don't think to me, that's not a big deal, because this is business now.
Right.
This is the future.
And I feel like it's necessary. I mean, regardless of his performance, we all know LeBron's still playing at a high level, but it's time. It's time to start looking down the road. And I feel like that's why I feel like it's about to be some big moves being made, because you gotta think about life without LeBron. You gotta think about, okay, we still gotta do the things we need to do to keep him to keep Luka away from free agency. So let's start building around him now. You know, you can throw the whole Bronny experiment in there as a possible factor, which I don't buy into that. I've heard it, but I don't really buy into that. But now it's like, okay, so what next? You know, what's available? What's the moves? What pieces do you go acquire? And what contracts do you say you want to walk away from? And it's a business, man. Big business.
It's so
It's the
funny.
entertainment business.
It's so funny you bring up Bronny because you know how everybody, you know, you even sent it, I think, to me about, you know, how LeBron get a look to who getting traded, you know, every
Yeah.
time, and you know they out of there. Man, how crazy would it be? How crazy would it
Wow.
be if LeBron said, "Get me out of here" by the trade deadline, and he left Bronny on that team by himself?
That ain't gonna happen because when he go, Bronny going. I promise you that. I promise you that. At the minute
He going
LeBron
with
is
him?
gone, Bronny gone.
Okay.
Come on, they moving them on. The funny thing is both of them getting kicked off the team at the same time. Like, listen, you and your son get out of here. That'd be crazy.
Maybe that's how it worked. But I was just thinking, like, man,
That's
that would be
crazy.
crazy if he dipped. Because
You're teaching them the business.
the internet would not, you know, they would love that. They
Oh
would
my
just
goodness.
they would just
They'll
run wild
crucify
with
them
that.
both.
Last thing I
crucify
want
them
to talk
both.
about, Mo, and Jay Williams said this on Get Up. And I've heard a couple other people kind of hint at it as well. And I think this is something, you know, to also touch point with the magnitude. Remember, I told you this trade opens up so much to talk about, because we could still talk about this probably for another 30 minutes, but we got some other things we need to touch base on. With this trade, I think it was CJ McCollum, but guys were like, yo, if they'll trade Luka, I'm just gonna pack my bags right now, because they'll trade anybody right now if you're gonna trade Luka. So Jay Williams was talking about this on Get Up, saying that basically this is a move of the owners taking back some of the control of the league. And I totally get and understand where he's coming from on this. And I see it. I just don't know if I can totally believe it, because I don't know if all the owners is going to be 10 toes down, as the kids say, you know, to do this or whatever. But this is a big message to say, yo, we will get rid of your butt. Now, if they had sent Luka to like Washington or something like that, oh yeah, I'd be
Charlotte.
like, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. They taking the league back. They taking the league back. But I could see this. I could see this because the NBA has wanted to be like the NFL, where the NFL, you know, it's just like, yeah, you got 1 or 2, 3, 4, you know, really a small handful of guys that can really, you know, pull their weight and make some stuff happen. But the rest of everybody else, it's just, this is what it is. And I know the NBA wants to be, you know, a part of that. So do you think that like this NBA move, this trade, could develop into maybe some other things like this and some other guys? And it's just because I talked about Jimmy Butler and everything, but most of that was because it was Pat Riley. Pat Riley it's going to be my way.
Right.
You don't run nothing in Miami. And I've said that Miami was the only franchise that operated like this. But with this move of what Dallas has done, now it's those two. Could other franchises start joining this and just saying, you know what? Hey, you see what happened here. You see what happened there. Don't let it be you.
No, I don't see that. Because it's not enough well-ran franchises to have that mindset. I don't think it is. I mean, you're talking about the Lakers, you're talking about Dallas, you're talking about Mark Cuban, you're talking about the Buzz family. No. Because
Mark Cuban don't even own it. Mark Cuban ain't even the owner no more.
I'm just associating him with Dallas. But that historically over the past 20 years or so, it's been a well-ran franchise, right? How many of those franchises are in the league right now? You know, with great players that they can have that approach with. I don't see it yet. I think it was a reminder of how business is ran in this league, or how it can be ran, because that was a big, I'm not going to call it a slap in the face, but if you Luka and you looking at $350 million inside of a year, and all of a sudden they take that away from you, this is a harsh reminder that, okay, this is business.
Yeah.
I can't compete with that. Yes, I'm the talent, but at the same time, they feel that strong about AD. Or they feel that strong about that money that they was about to spend. Either way, I'm expendable. And, I think it's a harsh reminder for those upper echelon of franchises that can stick their chest out like that. Everybody can't do that. The Bobcats can't do, the Hornets can't do that, And some of these other franchises that, just been dirt for the past 20 years or so, they can't act like that. They can't act like that.
But Mo, it only got to be a few teams because I mean, and with respect to the Hornets and the Wizards and everything, superstars are not going there. I know my Detroit Pistons or whatever. You've heard me talk about this. That's why I'm still mad about Wembanyama in the draft. But free agents are going to certain spots. So in those spots, if those franchises can I guess get leverage back, I think it is possible. I do, it's just how many of them are really going, pull the trigger or now you got two teams who did it and maybe they start getting froggy because they see some, one of the other teams did it. So it's just like, well, I'm going to do it too. And we lead a revolution, on this, but I think it got a chance. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think it got a chance.
I'll say this to that. It's not impossible. But right now, the NBA is they in that phase right now to where they have to do something. They got to do something. I know they got the little changes coming up. We talked about this last week. I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago about in comparison to the NFL and the All-Star weekend and whatnot. They got to do something. They got to figure out a way to roll the dice. Right now, they just made the season interesting for the rest of the year.
Oh,
we watching now because
rest of the year
you will be lined up when you hear about Dallas versus Lakers. You watching as long as both of them boys are healthy. You watching. Even if not, because Anthony Davis got a point to prove to LA, and Luka definitely got a point to prove to Dallas, and both of them want to say, "Listen, you made a mistake." It's gonna be a game, and I think it's gonna actually be an interesting matchup if they make some moves. Because right now we got to figure out who they're gonna replace AD with. I'm thinking about your Nick Claxton, your DeAndre Ayton, Miles Turner, somebody out there. Call Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
Call Dwight Howard.
Get somebody.
He's still in shape.
Yeah. Only thing it's crazy though that Dallas, made that move like how they made it. Because they probably could have got more if they had made it public. Or a matter of fact, they would have got more if they had made it public. I mean, they wanted AD. I just think they could have still got someone else added into that from the Lakers to make that deal happen or whatever. But the AD was the guy that they wanted. So sometimes it's just like if you got who you wanted, then that's all, that's all that, that matters. They got, got who they wanted. But yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. This season is going to be next season. See, this is the other thing. This is something that we're going to be able to watch unfold for the next 2, probably 3 years. With both of these teams. I still think the Mavs took a little step back because I mean you lose a talent like Luka is not anything light, but I still think, they can make some noise in the playoffs. You get to the playoffs, you get hot, you play the right way. If that defense is playing like they expect it, to be, because if you got Lively, Gafford, and AD, all clogging up the middle, not all at the same time, but you just ain't out there just shooting willy-nilly, like the regular season. So it's going to be interesting. Nico Harrison is he got some onions, man. Remember, he was the dude, and I hate to remind people of this, but it's been brought up. He was involved. It wasn't all him, but he was involved in that whole thing with Steph and the presentation that went wrong and everything. So, but he was the guy that got Kyrie Irving as well when nobody wanted Kyrie Irving as well. And then people maybe criticize him for letting Jalen Brunson go, but he's done some good things. Some other things maybe didn't work out, and this one right here, he got some onions, baby. I give him credit, man. He's making moves. So, Mo, I
Yeah.
appreciate you jumping in.
Yeah, man.
Here, because I know you like to stay in the background and all that stuff, but under the circumstances, we had to bring you out and talk
Hey,
about this because
I'm
this
happy
is
today.
special.
I'm happy today.
Yeah.
As a Laker fan, I'm happy today. I'm good with
All
that.
right.